Hello everyone and welcome back to My Opinion. And the Gujarat Titans have secured a convincing victory over the Mumbai Indians in Qualifier 2, booking their place to play in the final on the 28th against CSK. The review of the eliminator between MI and LSG didn't consist of a segment where I suggested 11s for the Gujarat Titans and the Mumbai Indians for the Qualifier 2 game. And starting off for the Gujarat Titans, I expected a couple of changes from their previous game against CSK. I didn't think Dasun Shanaka would play this game, and I thought that Josh Little would be involved in some capacity, whether it be starting in the 11 or included as an impact sub, and the latter was what took place. And especially since the Gujarat Titans were batting first, I thought it was the correct decision to play both Sai Sudarshan and Vijay Shankar, and I'll get to why I thought that was when I start reviewing their batting innings. And for the Mumbai Indians, one change for them, Kumar Kartikeya starting instead of Hrithik Shokil. And in the previous game, I'd said that I was pleasantly surprised that Rohit Sharma won the toss and chose to bowl first. The Mumbai Indians have got a lot of wins while chasing scores, and they've secured a lot of 200 plus chases. And I thought that they may be tempted, even though the correct decision was to bowl first in to bat first in yesterday's game, or the last game they played. I thought that they may be tempted to go with chasing, but I was pleasantly surprised that Rohit Sharma won the toss and chose to bat first. And considering that logic, I thought that once again do what was right and win the toss and choose to bat first in this game. And instead, what he does is win the toss and choose to bowl, and I didn't understand that at all. I thought whoever did win the toss and choose to bat would more likely win the game. I think in this ground, it's been a more bat first and winning venue, and that's why I just didn't understand this decision at all. And for a side like the Gujarat Titans, you'd think they'd need no second invitation to take that opportunity that the Mumbai Indians offer them, and they did exactly that. On the Gujarat Titans batting innings, I thought it was a good decision to start both Vijay Shankar and Sai Sudarshan, because we've seen at this ground that not losing many wickets in the power play is an important factor in getting to good scores. And we've seen previous cases of the Gujarat Titans where even if they've not got too many runs towards the end at times, they've been able to capitalize in that middle phase because they haven't lost wickets up front. We saw against SRH, even though they lost the wicket of Ridhiman Saha in the first over, the same partnership between Shubman Gill and Sai Sudarshan got them off to, well, initially you saw some runs flow in the next few overs, and then the platform was built where by the 14th over they got to 140. I know they didn't get too many runs after that point, but already the damage had been done, and 188 on that service was going to be a tough chase for SRH, and they fell short. In this case, I thought starting both Sai Sudarshan and Vijay Shankar was the correct decision, because pretend if a wicket had fell in the power play, the Titans were 50 without loss at the end of 6 overs today. But if a wicket had fell in the power play, we saw someone like a Hardik Pandya bat at number 3, which is something that I said they shouldn't be doing. And if he had walked out at 3 or 4 in this game and he had been dismissed as well, then in a side where even if they've got some good innings under their belt this season, I would still say they rely a lot on Shubman Gill and Hardik Pandya to really get the bulk of their runs. And if both of those players pretend were dismissed, they would have been in a bit of trouble. So I think playing all those 4 players as a top 4 in Ridhiman Saha, Shubman Gill, Sai Sudarshan and Vijay Shankar to set things up as a top 4. And then you've got the power hitters in David Miller, Hardik Pandya, Rahul Tewatia and Rashid Khan. I think that was something that really gave a structure to their lineup, the roles that the players would fill, especially on this kind of a surface. And in the end, with how well Shubman Gill went, with how well the partnership went between Shubman Gill and Sai Sudarshan in terms of setting up that foundation, they batted a long time themselves and they didn't really need the others to chip in as much. And on Shubman Gill, a fantastic innings of 129 of 60. I mean, I was especially surprised by the way he took on Piyush Chawla. He just switched gears. I think from the 9th over onwards, he just completely switched gears after the foundation was set. And yeah, I think his 3rd century in his last 4 innings. He's had a fantastic season, 850 or so runs, I think, in this season. And while he's been in great form in India colours, I expected him to have a good season this time around, but I didn't expect him to strike at 150 odd overall and score 850 odd runs. And yeah, he's been in fantastic form, expectedly so. And yeah, I mean, this innings was the backbone of his team getting to an imperious score of 233 for 3 at the end. Sai Sudarshan playing his part 43 or 32, I think. Now, I thought by the 14th over, I thought Sai Sudarshan could have retired out in that situation. I think it was on 28 of 21 or 22 or so. He continued until the 19th over, and he then retired out then, which I thought, yes, you could say, right, a power hitter facing 1 over, anything could have happened. But at the same time, on commentary, they said he maybe should have retired 3 overs or so earlier, but I thought he could have even retired by the 14th over, simply because David Miller nowadays he takes 10 balls to really get set. He only scores at a run and ball for the first 10 balls, and then he kind of explodes. And had he walked out with 6 overs to go, he could have taken that bit of time when Shubman Gill was going well, and then he could have started doing what he was doing. Hardik Pandya walked out to bat when Shubman Gill was dismissed, when he was trying to kind of get a lot of runs of the last few overs, with fantastic innings, of course, and scored 28 of 13 deliveries. And I think even it seemed like they did slow down after the 190 odd mark, but they still got 40 runs after the last 19 deliveries, I think. And 233 for 3 in 20 overs is still a fantastic score. So yes, Sai Sudarshan retiring earlier could have maybe, I think it probably would have increased the score they would have got overall. The power hitters would have been able to face more deliveries, but even then they kind of got an imperious score on the day. And on the Mumbai Indians bowlers, nothing much to really say on them. I mean, I was very surprised to see someone like a Piyush Chawla being attacked relentlessly by Shubman Gill. I think anyone can have an off day, but I didn't expect Piyush Chawla to be attacked in this fashion by Shubman Gill in this game, going up 15 and over in 3 overs. If I just get the Mumbai Indians bowling card up here, bear with me. Or I could just look at it here. Yeah, so Mumbai Indians bowlers, I thought Jason Berdoff, none for 28 in his 4. He's had quite a decent season this time around. When they signed him, I didn't really know what to expect because his T20 credentials, apart from bowling with a new ball, haven't been as great throughout his career. And especially with the last over that he bowling the wide Yorkers to Hardik Pandya, only giving 7 off his last over and conceding a boundary off the last ball. I thought it was a fantastic effort to go for none for 28 when everyone else is going for runs this much. And Akash Madwal, the player that got 5 for 5 in the previous game, unfortunately a drastic change in fortunes for him in this game with 1 for 52 in his 4. And Kumar Kartikeya, I don't really know why he couldn't bowl more than 2 overs. I mean, unless in terms of some kind of a strategical thinking, when you've got all the other bowlers pretty much going for runs bar 1, if you've got someone bowling 2 overs and going for none for 15, then you'd think they would bowl 2 more overs. But again, I don't know why he didn't bowl 4 overs. So yeah, and for the Mumbai Indians already, when they've chosen to bowl first here, quite illogically, given the advantage to the Gujarat Titans, I mean, I kind of expected them to take full toll of this opportunity, and we saw what we did in this innings. And now in the Mumbai Indians batting innings, a few more things to say here. Their hand was forced early due to a bizarre incident in the first innings, resulting in Ishan Kishan being unable to take the field in the second innings. I've never seen this kind of an incident take place in especially professional cricket, but on a day or in an innings where nothing was going right with the ball, this is one other thing that took place. And because of that, the impact substitute Nehal Wadera opened the batting alongside Rohit Sharma. And Vishnu Vinod was included as a concussion substitute, and I'll get to that in a bit. The first wicket to fall was Nehal Wadera trying to pull a delivery from Mohammad Shami and was caught behind. And in an ideal world, Ishan Kishan would have opened the batting and Nehal Wadera would have batted in the middle order, which would have helped Mumbai more in this chase, and they wouldn't have really liked the fact that a player who would be batting out of position would also be dismissed early on. And I'd like to mention 2 tactical things, one from the Mumbai Indians point of view and another one from the Gujarat Titans. For the Mumbai Indians, like I said about the Gujarat Titans first innings, I thought it was a very good decision to play both Sai Sudarshan and Vijay Shankar at 3 and 4. Well, that's where I thought they would have been slated to bat if things hadn't transpired the way they transpired. Simply because it's important at this venue to not lose many wickets in the power play. You'd be able to establish that foundation and then go on with your innings. And in the innings, if this top four had gone in that order, you would have got clear role definition, like I mentioned, where you've got the top four to set things up, and then you've got the power hitters in Hardik Pandya, David Miller, etc. to do the job at the end. In this case, well, you've got Cameron Green in the previous game batting at number 3, which I thought was the correct decision for that game. But in this game, I would have played Tilak Verma at number 3, Surya Kumar Yadav at number 4, and Cameron Green at number 5. Now, with Tilak Verma batting at number 3, it would have ensured that him and whichever opener was batting alongside him at that point in time could have minimized the loss of wickets in the power play, and could have established some sort of a foundation for the other power hitters to follow, to benefit from. Cameron Green walked out at number 3, and you could say because of him being hit in the forearm, almost the elbow after delivery from Hardik Pandya, he had to walk off the field quite early, and in the end he walked out to bat at his designated batting position. However, I thought it wasn't tactically a great decision for Mumbai Indians to send Cameron Green out at that point in time. And on the Gujarat Titans, I think I've mentioned the second over reprieve a few times, especially when they were playing against the Chennai Super Kings. 1 in the first game of their season, and this IPL season, and 2 in the game in qualifier 1. And in the first game, Hardik Pandya bowling the second over, instead of Alzari Joseph, gave CSK a reprieve. Rutraj Gaikwad got runs off the second over, and the innings went on from there. And in qualifier 2, Darshan Nalkande overstepping and Rutraj Gaikwad not being dismissed in the second over, which provided the platform for CSK to get to 172. In this game, I thought once again Hardik Pandya bowling instead of Josh Little, I thought was not the correct tactical call. Yes, Hardik Pandya has been brilliant opening the bowling alongside Mohammad Shami, but I thought the correct tactical call would have been to bowl Josh Little. He was included, or rather he was bowled quite a bit later and struck in the first over that he bowled, dismissing Cameron Green. So I would have opened the bowling with, when I say open the bowling, he should have bowled the second over with Mohammad Shami bowling the first. And it wasn't a great tactical call once again from the Gujarat Titans, because Hardik Pandya went for, I think, 24 runs in his 2 overs. And yeah, I mean, that kind of got the Mumbai Indians off to a start. And the innings from Tilak Verma, 43 of 14, a fantastic knock, hitting someone like a Mohammad Shami, who, albeit today, I thought wasn't at his best compared to how we've seen go on this track in previous games. But still, hitting a bowler like him with the vein of form he's in is very difficult. And 43 of 14 balls. I thought even if MI didn't get what they got after the power play, 72 for 3 and 6, even if they got slightly less than that but hadn't lost many wickets, if they lost even 1 wicket, for example, then you've got a case where the Gujarat Titans were 50 without loss in 6 overs, and then won 91 for 1 and 10, and then went on from there to get 140 odd in the last 10. Now, the reason why that may not have been as possible in the second innings is because you've got that chasing pressure. Of course, you could be satisfied with getting 50 in the first innings after the power play and you think we are on track. With the scoreboard pressure, would you have been entirely satisfied with that kind of a score, even if you hadn't lost many wickets? I don't know. And this is why I'm saying again, the Mumbai Indians threw things away from when they chose to field first, which I just didn't understand at all. But on this innings, though, 43 of 14, I mean, he's been brilliant whenever he's played as Tilak Verma. 150 score, I think, which was in the first game that MI played this season. But apart from that, he's played these cameo innings at high strike rates. And today, after the start the Mumbai Indians got, he really, his innings really got them to that 72 of 6 overs and would have given them a better platform had they not lost the 3 wickets that they did. A partnership then ensued between Suryakumar Yadav and Cameron Green, and I thought even if they got to a stage where 130 was required of the last 10 overs, you've got to that stage where you've got the power hitters to do the job, and a partnership between those two would be imperative for Mumbai Indians in winning the game. And unfortunately for them, Cameron Green was dismissed after the bowling of Josh Little for 30 of 20. Now, this was where I think they would have, if they weren't going to send Tim David out at this point, they would have benefited from a Nehal Wadera being available to bat at that point in time, rather than him having to open the batting and Vishnu Vinod batting at this point in time. But having said that, since that option wasn't available to them, Tim David should have batted, I think, when the wicket fell in the 11th over or so. After the over was completed, 106 of 48 deliveries were needed with only 2 overs of spin left. Had Tim David and Suryakumar Yadav both gone, you'd think that maybe they could have got a lot closer to getting this total. And really, from the Cameron Green dismissal, that's when the game really started to veer towards the Gujarat Titans, because while both him and Suryakumar Yadav were batting, you kind of thought that 130 of the last 10, it would be possible. And I think it was a strategic error not sending Tim David out at that point. Too much pressure on Suryakumar Yadav. Yes, a brilliant 61 of 30. It was dismissed of a delivery that, looking at the shots we've seen him play in the past, he was looking to play that same shot again. Unfortunately for him, he was dismissed of the bowling of Mohit Sharma. And from that point in time, you thought it would be pretty much solely on Tim David, with Vishnu Vinod being dismissed soon after as well. And yeah, that was pretty much the game. And from nowhere, Mohit Sharma getting 5 for 10 in 2.2 overs and conceded a 6 as well early on when Suryakumar Yadav was batting. And yeah, I mean, it was a 5 for where I think he got a few plays at the end where he could just pick their wickets, and he did exactly that. So the top 3 wicket takers in this competition are all Gujarat Titans bowlers. They're the orange cap holders, also Gujarat Titans batsmen. They're in the final now, expectedly so. Like I said, I thought even their loss against CSK, it wasn't the end of the world, and I knew they would be in the final. And the next part of this video will be me suggesting the 11s of both CSK and the Gujarat Titans. I'm not expecting many, if any, changes from either side in this final game. And on CSK, I expected them to go with the 11 that they've always gone for throughout this season. And in my view, I would have played Rahane to open in the previous game, left out Devon Conway and played Mitchell Santner as the extra spinner to bat at number 8 as well. But they went with the 11 that they've went with throughout this season. And I think what is playing Conway consistent with the theory that if you minimize wicket loss in the power play, then you've got a top 3 or 4 to set the game up for the others, and then you can get a good total. Yes, it does, because if you've got Gaikwad, Conway and Rahane, that's a sturdy top 3. In my view, if the Gujarat Titans bat first, get a good score, would Devon Conway be bogged down on a surface like this, where despite the fact that we saw a high scoring game today, it is still a tough surface to bat on? That is the only thing I think is a point of concern regarding CSK, but I still think they'll play the same 11 that we have seen them play. And on the Gujarat Titans, they could do one of 2 things. I think they would probably go with the same 11 that they've played today, with Josh Little still involved as well. Or what they could do is, right, Rahul Tewatia's record against pace as a finisher is fantastic. It's not so against spin. And if you've got a way better attack that CSK have got in this game compared to Mumbai Indians, and you've got someone like a Ravindra Jadeja and a Mitchell Santner, if he does play, well, I think Jadeja will play, I don't think Santner will play. Then you've got David Miller, Sai Sudarshan if he plays, and even though Tewatia is also a left-hander, his record against spin isn't great. So what I may do is, you play someone like a Matthew Wade instead of Rahul Tewatia, and you could go one of 2 ways. You could play a Sai Kishore instead of a Noor Ahmed and sub in Josh Little in the bowling innings. Or what you could do is play Noor Ahmed and play Yash Dayal instead of Josh Little. So that's the thing they could do. I don't know if they will go for Matthew Wade, because Tewatia has been a featuring player for them. So let's see how this game goes. And yeah, that is on that. And yeah, I mean, I do think CSK should get their hands on the trophy, but let's see how this game goes. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, share it with your friends. Remember, this is my opinion. What's yours?